Minister, I want to raise the ongoing challenges that are being presented by the planning laws that we have here in Ireland, and particularly the problems that are being created in the area of planning in rural Ireland. The most recent high-profile incidence of this is, of course, the decision by the Supreme Court to rightly reject an application to have the proposed Glanbia project at a factory halted. Colleagues in your own government have welcomed this Supreme Court decision, as have many others, including myself and my rural independent colleagues, as a victory of common sense against an overzealous and inflexible attitude towards environmental or emissions targets. The rush to court and the use of judicial reviews around infrastructure planning is creating paralysis in some areas. There are also many other less well-known cases at a local level where An Bord Pleanála is simply not fulfilling its statutory obligations, particularly when it comes to Section 126 of the Planning Development Act, which states that every appeal is to be determined within 18 weeks. This isn't happening, Minister. I have no wish to personalise this matter against the staff of An Bord Pleanála. I am sure that they are equally as frustrated as the rest of us, with the growing need to assess even the most minor projects against a library shelf of EU regulations. We need a much more simplified and straightforward system, because the one we have is simply not working and is creating frustration and jeopardising much-needed investment and job creation in many areas. Take, for instance, the case of Banagher Chilling in my own constituency, a multi-million euro investment that would offer vital price competition to beef farmers. It was January of 2021 when An Bord Pleanála initially confirmed to me that it was not in a position to determine if the inspector's report, which was then already due by the 4th of January, would be completed. That was bad enough, but the situation got worse. Then in March 2021, it was confirmed to me that An Bord Pleanála had yet to receive the report, despite the new deadline of the 1st of March having come and gone. Fast forward to September 2021, and An Bord Pleanála were still not in a position to confirm when the inspector would submit the report on the appeal. Then, this January gone, I was told that the report would definitely be ready within 2 weeks. Yet here we are again, the end of February, and still no sign of that particular report. That is a far cry from 18 weeks. We must address this urgently, because we have a situation where they're not upholding the statutory planning timeframe, the timeframe for which decisions are due, but it is also creating it's creating frustration, and it's jeopardising, as I said, much needed investment and jobs.
Minister, please.
Thank you very much, Deputy Nolan, for raising these issues in relation to our planning system. And I think we will all acknowledge the need for a fit-for-purpose planning system for our country, for the development of homes, for the development of industry, and indeed for the development of public infrastructure as well. Because, as you will be aware, we have now adopted a national development plan out to 2030 that involves public expenditure of €165 billion across all of the main areas of building the homes that we need, building our public transport infrastructure, our road infrastructure, our climate action measures, investing in enterprises and so on. So having a planning system that is fair, that acts in a timely fashion, is absolutely fundamental to the achievement of those objectives. And that is why you will no doubt be aware of the initiative that is being led by the Attorney-General. It is the first of its kind, in essence, where he and a team of dedicated experts are now re-examining the entire planning legislative framework with a view to bringing forward new legislation that Minister Darragh O'Brien will be bringing to government over the period ahead. The idea of that essentially is to make our system more efficient and to reduce the level of legal risk. People are entitled to object. People are entitled to bring a judicial review, but we certainly do not want to see a situation where major projects of regional or national importance are ending up before the courts and have the planning permission rescinded on a legal point of law, because the planning system has to be robust and has to ultimately be vindicated in the great majority of instances where such legal challenges are taken. Of course, we also don't want frivolous or vexatious objections to developments across the country either, for developments that are badly needed and must take place. So I welcome, the Taoiseach and the Government have welcomed the decision in respect of the judicial review taken in the Glanbia case. People who took that case had a right to bring the case. It has now gone through due process and it has been concluded, and we welcome it. And we all acknowledge that our agriculture industry is on a journey, and it is up for that journey, because embracing sustainability, dealing with the climate action issues that are there and the challenges around reducing emissions and so on are absolutely vital. You mentioned about the issue of rural homes as well, and one-off homes, and I think when you look at the evidence, it points to the strong delivery of new homes in rural Ireland in recent years. More than 28,000 rural house planning permissions granted in the 5 years to the end of Q3 last year, and about 80% of that number were actually built. And the very latest CSO figures indicate a 38% increase in permissions for one-off houses in the year to the end of September 2021 when compared with the previous year. So it went from about 5,000 to 7,000. So that's not evidence of a system that is completely broken. When it comes to building one-off homes, the number is increasing significantly, and there is a balance to be struck between ensuring that developments are sustainable and are proportionate and are suitable to the area in which they take place. Deputy.
Good. Minister, I thank you for your response, and I certainly welcome the fact that the Attorney-General is examining the matter. But I would urge urgency in relation to it, because we need to ensure that we have a robust system and a fair system, a balanced system in place as quickly as possible. I've seen firsthand in my own constituency with the delays that it's impeding investment, and indeed it could put off future investment coming into Laois Offaly because of this multi-million factory being placed in the position it is being placed in, and because of the time delays that are involved. But also, Minister, you mentioned rural housing, and I have seen firsthand that many of those applicants are being left in limbo because An Bord Pleanála isn't coming back in a timely manner with a decision in relation to planning for one-off housing. And that is certainly an issue that also needs to be dealt with. But I'm particularly concerned with the lack of balance in terms of enterprise and environment. We need to ensure that there's balance, and I can see certainly firsthand that it's tipping one way, and there needs to be, I feel, more common sense, more pragmatism, because we can't stand up here and talk about job creation if we're being impeded and obstructed all of the times by groups such as An Taisce and so forth.
Yeah, thank you, Deputy. And look, the issues you raise are really important when it comes to us as a government and a country meeting the objective of balanced regional development. And we really do want to see such balanced regional development. It is core to the Project Ireland 2040 strategy, where the majority of the growth in the population of Ireland over the next 20 years, which is estimated to be growth of about 1 million people, will be outside of Dublin. And so ensuring that we have the ability to deliver infrastructure in a timely manner is central to all of that when it comes to the development of flood schemes around the country and other vital pieces of public infrastructure as well. We want An Bord Pleanála to meet the statutory deadlines that are there, and I will raise the issue that you have raised today with Minister Darragh O'Brien in that respect. And just to say that updated rural housing guidelines are currently being prepared to ensure consistency with current requirements and legislation at national and EU level, and subject to requirements for periods of public consultation and ensuring compliance with environmental legislation, which will inform the timeframe. The guidelines will be prepared in draft during this quarter in the current year. So in other words, in the next month to 6 weeks, Minister O'Brien expects to be in a position to bring those forward. Thank you.